Yes, of course, because we have had a lot of attacks from ISIS, but this attack is completely new now. It's I think it's the beginning of something we're not accustomed to. This is why we have to be very, very careful, because Tunisia now is a target for ISIS, and probably they think that they could do the same thing that they have done in Iraq or Syria. I mean, seizing part of the land or even a city, which is completely crazy, but it's very, very dangerous for Tunisia. This is why we have to stand with our government, with our military, and to forget all our differences, because really, for the first time, I think that Tunisia is threatened, and it's very serious.
And is Tunisia strong enough to withstand this threat?
Yes, of course, because Tunisia, first of all, Tunisia is a homogeneous society. It's not like Syria or Iraq. This is very important for the solidarity between Tunisians to face the threat, and also because we have a very professional military, and I'm very proud of what has been done, because the military and the security forces did well, against those terrorists, and also the state is solid. It's not. But I think that we still have a fragile democracy, that our economic situation is not very good, and this could also be extremely harmful for tourism. You know how important tourism is for Tunisia.
There was also the attack on the beach in Sousse, right?
Yes.
Let me ask you about what your military says. Your military says that a lot of the Islamic State new recruits that they're capturing are coming from inside Tunisia. What is happening inside your country that allows young people to go over to that side?
Well, first of all, don't forget that those young people, as you say, are 20 years, 25 years old, okay? So they were brought under the dictatorship. They suffered from the dictatorship. They saw how corrupt the state was, etc., etc. So they are the product of the dictatorship. They are not the product of the Tunisian society, or even, of course, they are not the product of our new democracy. They are really the product of this dictatorship. And I think we will have a lot of. It will be quite difficult, to get rid of this. Look. Under the dictatorship, under this corrupted state, etc., there were two ways, to confront the situation. Some young people went to this Islamist extremism. Others went to democracy, to human rights, and so forth. So both, both directions are. In fact, we owe them to the dictator, if I may say.
But what about the current president, though? I mean, you were defeated in 2014. You wanted another term as president. That didn't happen. Would you say that the current government, though, is it failing in giving young Tunisians a perspective on the future?
Yes, of course, but I'm not blaming the government, because I do know that it's extremely difficult, to have a new economic situation. So I'm not blaming the government. I'm just saying that if we have so many young people, going to ISIS, it's not because of the fault of this government, of my government. It's because of the dictatorship, and because the current economic situation is not that good. So if we want to improve if we want to stop this, this trend for our youngsters to leave the country, to come to Germany, or to go to Iraq or Syria, we have to give them jobs. We have to. If we do not succeed to give them jobs, I'm afraid that we will still have to face this problem.
Let me ask you about what's going on right here in Europe at the moment. And you're aware of the refugee crisis. You're aware of the plan that came out of Brussels last night. What's your take on this plan of swapping refugees and Turkey agreeing to take back refugees?
Well, first of all, as I said earlier, I must confess that as Arabs, we are very ashamed of our own government, because, in fact, doors were closed everywhere in Egypt, in Tunisia, in many Arab countries. We should have taken a lot of Syrian refugees, and I did a lot of appeal, to our own government to say, hey, they are also Arabs. We have to.
Because your government, the German government says it has problems repatriating Tunisians that are here illegally.
Yes, but let me finish about the deal. I think it's a good deal for Turkey. It's a good deal for Germany. Well, is it a good deal for the refugee? I don't know. What I do know is that we are grateful to the German people. We are grateful to the Turkish people because they have. I have visited some refugee camps last month in the southern border of Turkey, and I saw the conditions which were very good. Would I say? So. We cannot ask the German people or the Turkish people to do more for our citizens, for our Arab citizens, but we have to ask them now to tackle the real issue, which is to stop the flow of the refugees, which is to bring peace to this poor country. And we Arabs, we should do more. I think that the Gulf countries, the Saudi Arabia and so forth, they are rich enough, to take.
But they're not. Right, and they're not, though. I mean, where's that impulse going to come from? Who in the Arab world is going to say we need to do more?
I am saying, I think we are a lot of human rights activists and Democrats saying, look, you, especially the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, you should do more.
The Arab Spring, is it completely dead?
No, of course it's not. It's just the beginning. I think it's completely. Well, look at the French Revolution. It took more than 70 years in order to reach its goals. Why do you want the Arab Spring to reach all its goal in 5 years? In Tunisia, it's a success story. I mean, we have fragile democracy, but we do have a democracy, and everywhere the Arabs are fighting are standing for their rights. So it's the beginning of a process. It's crazy. I think it's totally unjust, and to say it's okay, it's over. No more Arab Spring. It's not complete. It's not true.
You have said if Tunisia's democratic revolution does not succeed, that it will be another 100 years before Tunisians and North Africans have another chance at democracy. You still stand by that?
Well, I'm a optimistic man. Sometimes I'm a little bit more pessimist. Sometimes I'm a little bit more optimist. But I'm quite sure that this is a long process. It will take decades, But decades for when you consider a nation, it's nothing. A decade is very too much time for a man, but for a nation it's nothing. So it will take decades and decades probably, but in the Arab world now you have two projects. You have the ISIS project, the Caliphate, theocratic and a state and probably an Islamist dictatorship. And then you have our own project, which means civil society, human rights, democratic state and so forth. And those two projects are competing in the Arab world. Of course, I do believe that our project will prevail, but we would need a lot of help from the West, because the West also needs to back us. Otherwise, it will have to deal with this ISIS.
You say your project, you're part of a new political party in Tunisia. Now, why does Tunisia need a new party?
Well, because, as I told you, democracy is still fragile, For instance, we have a lot of people now talking about why no torture? If we have to deal with ISIS, why not torture? And I'm totally opposed to torture, even with ISIS members. So human rights ideology, I would say, is still fragile. Democracy is still fragile. Everything is still fragile. And now what we do have in the government is two political parties, الناطقة and Nida Tunis, are working together, and both are very conservative political parties from the social point of view. I'm a social democrat. Don't forget that I'm professor of public health. I deal with the problem of poverty and so forth. I'm very, very sensitive to this question. I see that we are not going to the right direction. This is why I think I still have some role to play.
Does that mean you're going to run for president again?
No, I don't know. It's too early to talk about that. But what?
Can you give me a date, though? When could we expect an announcement?
No, I'm not going to give you any answer.
Okay.